Everyone, welcome back to another episode of the 3rd and 20 Dynasty Podcast. It's JT, it's Jake, and it's Frank. No Lounis today, although you could see his image filled in for us, I believe. Anyway, we are on to the playoffs, most likely. If you're in your leagues, we're on to the playoffs. But we did want to kick it off with Jake decided to add this. I thought it was a good idea, too. Mike Leach did pass away kind of unexpectedly today, which is sad news to hear. He was very integral in the air raid offense and everything, and kind of what we're seeing today in today's NFL. So rest in peace, Mike Leach. Frank, you there. Yeah.
And just overall an awesome fucking dude. Mm-hmm. What a great guy. I mean, yeah, it really sucks. I saw that on Twitter. Someone said it in our group chat, and it's just like, dang, that's one of those guys that you just want to watch the games because he runs an entertaining style of offense. Obviously the interviews were very entertaining and he's just all around. I'm not like, if you guys are into like coaching clinics, anyone that watches, he's got a couple really great clinics that are out there as well. So like really big for that aspect of football. So really does suck. Really hate when I heard that. What's going on, Joe? How you doing, dude?
All right. So gonna get us refocused here. We did have a big injury on Monday Night Football. Kyler Murray goes down. And I think the obvious take is going to be, oh, if you're a contender and you have him, like, you should just trade him for, assuming your trade deadline's not happening, you should trade him for a quarterback and still keep going. What were your thoughts on this, Frank? What did you think?
Okay, so I'm in a league. What's going on, Skull? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys.
I'm in a league where I'm a playoff team, but my team is not going to win without some serious luck involved, right? I just don't have that level of squad. I've had a couple injuries, whatever. And I want to increase the amount of value I have of my team. Now, it's unfortunate that the quarterback I'm trying to trade away in this scenario is Patrick Mahomes, because to me, he's one of those types of players that it's hard to win a trade that you're trading him away because he's so good. But maybe there is, there's a price on everything. So if I wanted to trade, because I was thinking about this earlier today, if I want to trade away Patrick Mahomes, who I think we might all agree is the number one dynasty asset, if not top two, for Kyler Murray, a guy who's had a really bad season, it's not really bad fantasy wise, but for Kyler Murray level standards, a guy that came into the season as a consensus top 5, if not top 3 quarterback, rough year. Injury, you guys are saying he might miss the start of next year as well. What's the kind of deal that has to get done for me to trade this away, especially when this dude that I'm trying to trade with has no draft picks? So that's another area where I'm not even sure it can get done. But like, what types of players do you think you would have to add? I think he may have Ayuk. I could just pull up the team if you guys want. It'll be on stream, so you guys are gonna have to tune in. But
go ahead.
But like without draft picks, I'm not sure it could be done. But I guess let's just start off more general. How much on top? Maybe if you could quantify in a player or two.
Well, it's a tough one because, like you mentioned, that he's probably going to miss the beginning of next season. So if you're a team that's looking, to retool this offseason and come back next year as a contender, then it's going to be a tough situation to trade away Patrick Mahomes for a guy that's going to miss probably at least the first 8 games. So in that sense, I would want a little extra, honestly. I would take Kyler, and if you can get a first and maybe a bench player or a flex guy, I think that would be the move you would be looking at here.
So you want Kyler a first and a flex?
Mm-hmm. See, to me, I don't think I want to trade Mahomes for that, with just how secure and safe Mahomes is as a player.
I mean, if you want more, I think you could potentially get more, but the problem you run into is the guy doesn't have any picks in the first place. Ayuk's not a bad start. I mean, if you wanted to loop this into a 3-team trade where you basically just trade away everyone you get back that's not named Kyler Murray, I mean, I think you could load up on some picks here, and that's another way to go about it.
I was thinking like Kyler and 2 first equivalent players, late first, random first equivalent players, which I think Ayuk right now, if you were to mass offer him for a future 24, 25 first. I think there's a decent chance that gets taken in a league. Then I'm struggling to log into my sleeper of all fucking people to not be able to authenticate with sleeper.
Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't want to trade. I think Mahomes is very highly valued, and I am a proponent of moving him into a different quarterback in terms of like if you can make that big value jump. I just don't know if Kyler, a first and a flex player, is going to do it, first off. And second off, what I would need on top of Kyler to really make me want to do it. For me, I think if I'm in your spot here, I think I'm just going straight for the picks. I think I'll take Kyler and 2 firsts, and I'll throw a second on top of Mahomes and see if that works. I think that this guy doesn't have first.
I think he may have like a 25 first. Like I could.
Okay, well, all right. You could work with a 25 pick. So 2025. Let's just call it mid first because it's 2025. Who knows what his team's going to look like then?
Maybe like a 25 first Ayuk and Kyler for Mahomes. Like what side of the deal are you guys taking there? Wait, real quick, Joe. Joe says, sometimes you have to lose the battle to win the war. I wouldn't take poor value on Kyler or someone else to try and get lucky in the playoffs this year. Wait, I'm confused by that. I wouldn't take poor value on Kyler or someone else to try and get... See, the thing is, I'm kind of going the opposite way. Like, or you're saying just try my luck in the playoffs.
He's saying if he has Kyler, he's not selling him low just for a chance this year. That's what he's saying.
Well, no, see, I would operate the same way, but this guy trade blocked him in the whole 9. Like, sent in the message like, "Yo, willing to deal Kyler for a quarterback."
I mean, listen, it depends. If you were a team that was in first place or second place throughout the regular season, good amount of points for and stuff, and you're really saying this is my year, and you lose Kyler in the last week of the regular season, I might go out.
Picks to go, like this guy's kind of in, right? Like
right. So if you're in like that, you gotta trade Kyler. You gotta say, I don't care if I move from Kyler to Dak and pick up nothing, right? I'm just here to win a championship.
See, I wish I had one of like those lower tier quarterbacks because this is the exact type of scenario that I like to buy elite quarterbacks in, where you can move up tiers for fair prices. In the quarterback market, that only happens when someone actively sells a quarterback. If it's just a stale market where everyone's content, then you have to do these ridiculous overpays. But I don't know. I don't even think I would accept Kyler a random first and Ayuk for Mahomes. And that might be a little ridiculous because I love Kyler. But dude, I just feel like Mahomes is just so easy. I plop him in my lineup, and as long as he's not hurt, that dude's fucking playing.
I agree. I probably also wouldn't do that. Ayuk is someone I said like a couple episodes ago that I'd be trying to trade. I'm just thinking it just feels bad moving down from Mahomes to. I agree with what you're saying. I'd much rather move up from like a Derek Carr or I don't know, Trevor Lawrence, who is probably ranked above Kyler Murray right now. Actually, I'd rather move from one of those guys into Kyler than a Patrick Mahomes down.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, we could get onto that. Like, so what kind of quarterback would you? So let's say Trey Lance. Like, would you just try to flip Trey Lance into Kyler straight up?
Well,
start with him.
In this situation, I don't think that's working because the guy's looking
for. True. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you need someone who's playing. Forgot about that aspect. So I guess Dak is a decent example. I
would do Justin Fields. I would do Justin Fields for Kyler Murray, and you probably still get something on top of Kyler Murray. You probably still get.
Yeah.
Fields has been ranked above Kyler for the past.
Well, that's the thing is that you could get stuff on top of Kyler.
Yeah, you could probably get a second, maybe 2 on top of Justin Fields for Kyler Murray, and I just think Kyler Murray.
You might be able to get a first at this point.
I'd smash that. That's much more the direction I'd be going. But I mean, those are both kind of exciting quarterbacks. I don't know what you would have to do to move on from, say, Derek Carr. I'm trying to pull up Derek Carr.
I was thinking someone like Daniel Jones, right? At least a really high point scoring quarterback right now. Okay. What if you offered Daniel Jones and 2 firsts for Kyler?
I think that gets done. I don't even know if
I don't think it does.
Dude, I mean,
I don't know.
Listen, Daniel Jones has played great this season. He's played absolutely fantastic for the Giants this season. But still, the Giants have shown their what they are the past couple of weeks, and they know that Daniel Jones, although he's been all right, he's not the guy that's going to take them to the playoffs. He's not the guy that's going to win them a playoff game. And I think the Giants know this. I think Daniel Jones has done a very nice job and really solidified himself as a backup for years to come in the NFL. Absolutely. I think he's going to be.
What about the bazookas? You got 2 firsts in there too. It's not like
the
Daniel
2
Jones
firsts are more
premier.
important than Daniel Jones.
I mean, sure. I guess 2 firsts for Kyler is pretty much fair price right now. So I guess the quarterback itself doesn't matter. But like, if you're going to try to tear down, I would try to tear down to someone that I'm more confident is going to be a starter next year. Like, I'd rather go to Goff or something like that if I was going to tear down.
Okay, I think we're arguing semantics here at this point because they're in the similar range. I think Goff in 2 firsts or Daniel Jones in 2 firsts definitely gets it done for Kyler. I don't know.
So for context, this guy in this league, I remember the trade. He traded in the startup draft 2 firsts and 2 seconds for the pick that was Kyler, which I deemed at the time a pretty favorable trade that you got a top 10 dynasty asset for 2 firsts and 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think we can all agree that the price is either at that or down from that, right? Like if you're someone who's grumpy with Kyler Murray, 2 firsts and 2 seconds is not a bad price to be like, you know what? I will transition into a different guy. I'll go pick up Dak or Kirk Cousins or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, all in all, I think that you're right that that's the way to move instead of selling down into Kyler to try and tier up into Kyler.
I mean, look, if you're getting Kyler in 3 firsts from Mahomes, like, I'm not going to tell you to do no.
Yeah, that's not happening though.
Yeah, it's just like it's not the case. I do think in some leagues you could get Kyler in 2 firsts from Mahomes, which is crazy. That I would do. All right,
you think you can get 2 firsts on top of Kyler?
I mean, maybe right now with the right situation.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
have
know,
Kyler now with a torn ACL, bad situation. Hey, what's up, PTR? Yeah, I personally would never do that, but I do think there are leagues where it's Mahomes, kind of thing.
All right, so we got some NFL draft declares.
Yes.
This is one. All right, how much time do we want for me to spend on slandering Rakim Jarrett?
Why though? I don't know why.
The guy doesn't do anything for me. He doesn't do anything. Like there's like, you know what? Oh man, that guy doesn't have some production. And then there's Rakim Jarrett, 2-game merchant every season. Like we were arguing about this in our group chat maybe a couple weeks ago. You compared him to Christian Watson. Christian Watson like doubled Rakim Jarrett's production.
Sure,
and that was a knock on Christian Watson. Like,
look, I'll tell you this. I had Rakim Jarrett probably whenever we did our first 2023 rookie draft. I probably had Rakim Jarrett around in a late first, early second. He's definitely moved significantly down from me from there. And that's without seeing where he's drafted. But I still like the player. And if he's still getting day 2 draft capital, I'm still in on Rakim Jarrett. I'm just now more concerned about if he does get this day 2 draft capital. But he is declaring early. That's typically a good sign. Like,
that gets JT aroused right there.
He's probably had the draft advisory board tell him like, hey, look, we think you're a 3rd round pick or something like that, late 2nd, early 3rd round pick. He's like, all right, I'll take that.
That's what I want to ask Jake. Jake, where do you honestly think, like, if you were to give your crystal ball prediction, where is Rakim Jarrett going in the NFL draft right now?
The NFL draft, he's a 3rd round pick.
See, I think that he's like a 5th right now, and I even think that might be even being a smidge optimistic.
I truly believe he's a 2nd round talent that is going to go in the 3rd round because of his poor production. I think he's just one of these guys that he stayed home. He stayed in his home state of Maryland. He stayed around his younger brother. He stayed with just people he knew. in despite getting offers from all these big schools, and he played on a Maryland team that was very bad, to put it nicely. Like, until they got Loxley in his sophomore year, that team was just awful. So, like, he was playing on a team that was completely trying to build the program up, and he was one of the first steps in that, where he was a 5-star recruit, the whole thing, and he was helped turn the program along. And we've gotten better recruiting classes moving forward since he, went to Maryland. So, like, he did a lot for Maryland, and I think he didn't get the production to show it just because the team didn't catch up to him, if that made sense. So he was playing, it's like having a Maserati when you can't drive it. It's just like, what are you going to do? So as long as he tests well at the combine, I have no problem with Rakim Jarrett at all. I actually think he'll probably be underdrafted. So
I've gone through a few sites now just to see where people are thinking he's getting drafted, and I have not seen him in anyone's top 10 receivers yet. So I guess he's a lot lower than I
mean, listen, I haven't watched a lot of film on him, but at the end of the day, when you're like the fourth option on the fourth in production on Maryland's offense alone, their passing attack wasn't really that bad. It was like they had some decent numbers. I don't know. When I watch this film, he is going to have to, like, every catch he has to be Randy Moss-esque for me to be like, you know what, Rakim Jarrett, I'm in. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm much more out than I was previously, but if he's getting day 2 draft capital, I'm back. Do you think he goes first or Anthony Richardson?
I mean, I think Richardson, because the quarterback position.
All right. Just
Treylon stayed local at Arkansas. Didn't hurt him. Joe Hebert from the top ropes. And not only did he stay home at Arkansas, Treylon was out there hunting pigs with his bare hands. I don't want to hear it.
Treylon was also my wide receiver 1 in the class, though, last year.
I mean, dude, you look at the production, you look at the fact that he stayed home to hunt pigs with a knife.
I'm not
like, I mean, he's checking a lot more boxes to me.
I mean, the Arkansas team was a lot more put together than the Maryland team, if we're going to go there. But yeah.
Tank Bigsby, this is another player that's really interesting. Tank Bigsby was a guy, he declared for the NFL draft. A guy that I really liked early on in his career. And I don't hate Tank Bigsby now or anything like that. I'm just not as high on him being like, oh my God, this is a running back that I think is going to go like early to mid first type player. But nonetheless, I think it's looked a lot better than last year. Breaks a ton of tackles, very interesting running back. I'm curious as to hear where you guys have him valued. If you were to do a startup rookie draft right now, like where do you think you would be targeting him at? Like, where like the range that you would pick him in?
He's probably out of my top 5 running backs, but I'd say he's shortly after that. So if I'm thinking about where we're drafting players, I'd say that's probably a mid-second, early and mid-second. Probably mid-second.
Yeah, I'm a little higher. I have him early second. I have him in that like 202 to 204 range.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right now, somewhere in there, that early second.
I think he's good.
I want to put him in the late first, but the problem I have is that the tight ends that are around that early second, late first, I might just rather have than Tank Bigsby.
Yep.
I might they may even be like mid first caliber players that just go in the late first because of flashy receivers and running backs gaining hype as the process goes on.
We'll have plenty of time to debate this as it goes on, but I have a feeling he's going to get drafted by some team where there's going to be, an easy path to carries and whatnot. So I have a feeling he's going to find himself around that late first range when push comes to shove, especially with the name.
Landing spots are king.
Also, we see it every year as the draft gets closer and closer. Running backs start to shoot up the board. I mean, whether that's the redraft effect or not, it happens every year. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him in the back end of the first come rookie draft time.
He's a very interesting player. I mean, like when you look at Tank Bigsby's best plays and when you watch those Auburn games, like he looks fantastic. but he's just not that. I'm not sure. I'm not convinced he's at that upper echelon of running backs. But it would be interesting to see. This is another. Or you want another point, or you want to move on?
No, I was kind of just gonna more repeat yours that like he definitely looks a lot better this year, and I'm much more in on him. But there's just so many good running backs in this class that it's hard to justify taking him early. Yeah, that was all.
So this is another segment that hits close to home because Calvin Ridley, as we all know, was suspended for the whole gambling thing. If you look at his price on Keep Trade Cut, it's actually shot up a decent amount recently. I think he went from 2,800 points to like 3,500 points between that last offseason and now. So, I mean, that he's encroaching early second territory, which I think is realistically what most people were valuing him at. It was somewhere in that mid second latest. I think a lot of people weren't taking him around there. But startup drafts, obviously, he's a late round pick. I picked him up in quite a few startup drafts. What is the strategy that you guys would approach if you had or have Calvin Ridley in Dynasty? I can start because I think I've kind of decided, but if you guys want to take it, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Jake, you're muted.
We've listened to me say that Calvin Ridley's cooked too many times, so you could take it, Frank.
I forgot that you're a Calvin Ridley is cooked guy.
This guy is so cooked. I sell him now.
I mean,
sell him right now.
So I'm not going to sell him now, but I'm thinking I don't know, because I might get emotional because I like Calvin Ridley. But my plan right now is wait until that. Probably, I'm not sure if it's post draft or not, but I'm thinking post free agency because I don't anticipate the Jaguars spending a lot more on wide receivers in free agency. So if we see a couple good games out of Trevor Lawrence, all of a sudden we get these, especially once the analytics guys come in, because I feel like you're gonna see a lot of people like, oh, third year breakout Trevor Lawrence. Look at his numbers from rookie year to this year. Compare him to the other top quarterbacks. There's going to be a huge increase. The offense is good because you look at what what's his name did, Christian Kirk did, all that stuff, right? And whenever that hype point is in the offseason, I'm thinking of trying to do the classic Calvin Ridley in a second for a first strat and weasel my way into a first round pick.
If you can, it's always good to do that kind of trade with this kind of player. So.
I mean, JT, do you think Calvin Ridley has that chance of being elite again when coming back for the Jaguars?
No, I don't know about elite. Like, I think he could be good, but I think at the end of the day, he's just a wide receiver too. And so if I'm paying anything higher than early second prices on Calvin Ridley, I'm not that interested. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm paying the early second in like this draft class. Like if I'm giving up a 2024 second, sure.
Dude, the upside is just so tremendous though, because we've seen the types of seasons this guy can put up, and he has the profile to back it up. So
his upside is just, I don't know. It's tied to this Jaguars offense, which is yet to prove to me that they can sustain more than one option. It's tied to Trevor Lawrence, who's yet to prove to me that he's the real deal, deserved to be the number 1 overall pick. Like, there's a lot of question marks in this offense, and Calvin Ridley's another one himself. So with all that, I just don't want it any way, shape, or form.
I think we'll know what Jacksonville thinks of him come their offseason moves. I feel like the offseason moves offensively for the Jags is just pretty simple though. It's okay, maybe we try to fill in like a slot guy or someone a little bit more consistent than Zay Jones at the number 3, but nonetheless, it's just let's beef up our offensive line and get an elite defense, right? Like Kirk exceeded expectations. Don't see why Ridley can't do the same. See, well, that's interesting, right? Because I'm not actually sure that Christian Kirk has exceeded expectations. I feel like he's just doing the same thing he did in Arizona. but maybe a smidge more upside. Because I feel like if you look at his total season numbers for this year compared to last year, they're going to be relatively the same. Right? Like he's going to have probably just over 1,000 yards. Maybe he has more touchdowns. And that's why there's a big point boost. Trevor is QB9 this year. Haters. Yeah, listen, I'm a Trevor Lawrence guy, so I don't know what these guys are saying. Any other thing on the Calvin Ridley offseason? No one's buying and holding.
I just think you get way more of a pop with this. Like it's already built in that you expect Calvin Ridley to come back and be pretty good at the price he's at. I think if you get like this kind of rookie receiver, say it's, I don't know, Josh Downs in that kind of range where Calvin Ridley is, I think you're just way more likely to have a big pop and big value boost in that, in terms of a rookie wide receiver playing well. I mean, we've seen it this year with Olave, Garrett Wilson. Now we're seeing it with Christian Watson. We saw it with George Pickens. Like there's going to be a way bigger, limit or tier. I don't know what to call this, but the value boosts and swings and stuff, they always hit higher with the rookies. So I think I'd rather just keep that pick than go in on Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Let's Kirk is wide receiver 10 now. He was a wide receiver 3 in Arizona. That's a big jump. Yeah, it's a big jump. Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm all here for the Christian Kirk support. He was actually my number one biggest buy this offseason, but I feel like this season he's just getting a handful more targets and it's generally the same. All right, we'll move on. I'm sorry. Early off-season sell lows. I mean, I think this one is like a relatively self-explanatory topic, but I'll give the story that I fell into. I mentioned on a podcast earlier. It's the Jalen Reagor bait. I feel like there's a couple of these guys every offseason where in this March free agency period, maybe something happens for them favorably. They were expected to add to a position, but a team didn't, or vice versa. And on a lot of these players that are kind of screaming sells, you're able to get semi-decent value for them, even though it's at a loss from where they originally were from last season. So for me, the bait that I fell into was buying Jalen Reagor for a mid-late second after his rookie year, thinking, oh, sweet, I'm getting a guy that first-round pick, maybe just had a bad season, whatever. Not like what, a season later, 2 seasons later, he's cut from a team that traded for him for like a 5th-round pick. Who are your guys this offseason that you would be selling at a discount just to get them off your hands?
All right, I guess I could kick off with one. This one, he's not a rookie by any means, but I'm going to get out on Aaron Rodgers. I don't know where he's going to end up. I don't know if he's staying in Green Bay. I don't know if he's ending up on Jeopardy. I don't know if he's going to be on like a good team in terms of like maybe he goes to the Saints. I don't know. I have no clue what Aaron Rodgers is doing, where he's going. But at this point, we're talking about a quarterback who is still valued at like an early second, mid second maybe. And I don't know. He's 39 years old. Hasn't looked nearly as good. I know he's been battling injuries, but to me, if I could get out and just kind of pick up the value now, I don't think you're going to see much of a boost. Like it's.
Would you mass offer him for a second, like that type of territory?
I don't know about like just any old second, right? I'm not going to take like 212 in this year's class, but I would probably target like a 2024 second from a team that's kind of ambiguous, where I'm like, hey, if they make a few, bad moves or whatnot, this team's going to end up like closer to a 1st-round pick than they are a 3rd-round pick. I don't have like, I don't know where Aaron Rodgers is going or if he's even going to be playing, but I don't want to play this game like people have been doing with Tom Brady, because I just don't think he's going to play nearly as long as Tom Brady is. I don't think he's going to be able to hold up as long as Tom Brady was. Because I mean the man is 38 years old. He's already battling multiple injuries every year at this point. He doesn't have many wide receivers to throw to on Green Bay, or if he's going somewhere else, who knows? I'm just going to take the value.
The fact that Jeopardy is like actually a landing spot
actually,
is hilarious.
Yeah.
But we're getting a lot of chat suggestions here. Mike Evans sell low.
Don't hate it.
I don't hate it either because I did that this season. Mike Evans, I tried to sell Keenan Allen, but I couldn't. But Mike Evans was a guy that was sellable with Tom Brady.
I'm gonna piggyback off that one. I'm gonna sell him Mike Williams. I know. Oh, Jake's giving me
like that one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Where are you selling Mike Williams at? Like a mid-second, early second?
Let's see what keep trade cut. He's rated decently above Aaron Rodgers.
You could definitely fetch a higher price for Mike Williams than Aaron Rodgers. Mike Evans though, what would you sell Mike Evans at? Because I mean, maybe you do the classic second Mike Evans for. I don't think you can do that. A second of Mike Evans for a first. I'm not sure anyone would want to do that right now.
You might be able to. He's still at 4,200 on keep trade cut. I mean,
that's high.
I think you should be able to. I'm looking at 38.
I just don't understand. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like Keenan Allen should just be the exact same price.
Sorry, he's at 3,700 now. I don't know what I was looking at. It didn't refresh.
Okay, so that's like an early mid-ish second. I mean, if you can get that, I agree. I think I would still sell for that. Dameon Pierce, who I just traded.
Yeah,
dude. Wait, was that you that traded him in the second, third, and 20 league, Pete, to the R? Because I feel like you could have got a lot more than that if you marketed him out a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a sell low. I thought you could have got
the problem with this league, though.
But
the problem with this league, though, is there's a league of all of us in it, so we're all talking to each other, saying the same stuff. So it does get harder to move those kind of players.
Yeah, that's true. But
Gabe Davis seems to have proven he's not more than a reasonable bench strength.
I've been trying to say it. I've been saying it for so long.
Yeah, I think that's a good. Actually, Gabe Davis might be the classic example of his value is so inflated that he's this magical number.
I'll sell him for anything. I'll sell him for anything.
Well, like he's the type of dude that he might be that classic. If you mass offer him for maybe not any second, but like JT said, like a reasonable second, at least like.
I would trade Gabe Davis for Aaron Rodgers. That's how low I am on Gabe Davis.
And then come the draft, if the Bills draft a receiver or bring in like any receiver,
they brought in Cole
eyes.
Beasley today.
Did they
sign
really?
Cole Beasley today?
No, wait. Did they? We said there was no waiver claims. I need to pick this guy up. Cole Beasley's coming in.
Cole Beasley is
elite slot receiver.
Yeah, he signed with the Bills today.
I had no offer for Pierce other than that. Well, see here, Pizza R, this is what you need to do. That's one of those scenarios where you literally like, and this may be unethical to people, but I would just say like, yo, I've got a second for the third table, like deal on the table. Like if anyone can beat that, I'm probably down. And the other guy might get a little grumpy at you, but it's whatever because I got more value.
Oh, Joe saying Deontay could be solo. I disagree.
It's funny you say that,
Joe.
I honestly have been thinking about
Deontay is so good.
I just think. Look, he gets a ton of targets and he doesn't like give you a whole lot with them. But I think in a year where he scores 0 touchdowns, I just think you're like guaranteed for positive regression, assuming he's healthy and everything for next year. So I probably wouldn't get out on Deontay. I almost certainly wouldn't get out.
Dude, he sent offers too. Damn.
So the problem I have with Deontay is not the touchdowns in the down year. I do think he's going to bounce back. He's at that age, right? He's going to be 27 next year, which is the age where people say, okay, this is the prime. And now if he has a bad year next year, he's just going to plummet, right? And especially with George Pickens, if George Pickens takes the next step forward, if he takes another step back.
I'm not too worried about George Pickens.
Really? I mean, I
Yeah,
thought Pickens
no.
looked good. Pickens looked good.
Yeah, but Deontay's still just dominating him in targets.
Sure. I'm not worried about Deontay or Pickens for that matter, and I probably won't sell him. But I've thought about it just because if I can cash out now for like a late first, I would have to get a late first, which I know is probably a slight consensus overpay right now on Deontay. But if I can get that late first, I think I would do it just because I would basically re-roll on something I'd be more comfortable in and just go again,
Sell Sky Moore. Honestly, I think I agree with that. I would be selling Sky Moore.
I'm still standing by. Just wait for the Chiefs offseason to shake out. Not offseason in terms of draft, but like them re-signing players and everything. Because I think once you have a couple players walk, like I think like MVS, and Mecole Hardman, and Juju, like I think some of them are gonna not be with the team. I think you will still see a little bit of a value boost on Sky Moore. Just move off him then.
I'm so conflicted on him because I feel like he's a second round pick that's treated as a first round pick.
Yeah.
So like when you think about it in the context of a second round pick, he hasn't been completely horrible.
NFL pick.
NFL draft.
I was gonna say you definitely used the first rounder on him in rookie drafts.
Mm-hmm. No, he's still only playing like a quarter of the snaps, which you don't want to see that.
Yikes!
Rookies typically after the bye week see a huge increase, and
but you're right though.
Happening.
Like they may have just because this is the one stance that I'll agree with is that they came in knowing that guys like Juju and MVS and whatnot could come in and play this year for the run. Let Sky Moore develop into the system, and then come year 2, year 3, that's where you get your money's worth out of Sky Moore if you're the Chiefs. So they're thinking kind of years ahead. Mm-hmm. How do we surround Patrick Mahomes with as many weapons as we can for the window? Because you really don't want to be relying on a rookie unless they're really fucking good as a Super Bowl team.
The thing is, like when he's on the field, as long as it's not catching punts or muffing punts, essentially, he looks really good. Like when he's playing, but he's just not getting a lot of playing time. So it's I don't know. I want my rookies to be on the field. I don't want them to be on the bench.
So here's my sell lows. Okay. And these aren't. I'm on the fence with some of these guys. So give me a little bit of slack here. One that I've definitely been thinking about is David Montgomery. And it's annoying because I felt like last year, David Montgomery really improved as a runner. And then this year, between the offense at the beginning of the season being a complete shit show and not being able to pass the ball, and then getting hurt a bunch. Not like hurt, but like, eh. And then, I don't know. David Montgomery's just one I'm on the fence about. I'm just on the fucking fence about. I feel like he should be producing more. And he's not. And we see the Khalil Herbert in the rearview mirror. And to me, that's the type of player that come free agency, I'm more scared than I am optimistic, given how he performed this year.
You remind me of another one in a similar zone. I still think Leonard Fournette is like decent, but
I think if you can get anything for him, just do it.
Yeah, he's been a popular sell for anyone that's not doing well with Fournette.
We are a couple of years removed for him literally getting cut from the Jaguars and, almost being worth nothing. Like he had a crazy value resurgence.
I just think he's cooked, man. I think he's cooked.
I think he's
Brady's going to retire, and Brady is the reason Fournette is in
I don't
Tampa.
know if Brady's retiring, but I don't know if he's going to be in Tampa anymore either.
Dude, Brady's gone after this year. We all see it. Dude, he just got
actually
smacked
agree with
by Mr. Irrelevant.
He's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's San Francisco, to be honest with you.
No, I think it's going to be him and Sean Payton in New Orleans. It would be my guess.
Sell Courtland Sutton. That's an interesting one because that's kind of spicy. And this is annoying because I'm someone who liked Courtland Sutton. Dude, Courtland Sutton played like dog shit this year. Let's just call it how it is. Everyone wants to blame Russell Wilson for all of Denver's problems. Courtland Sutton was not good this year. And it's not like this dude wasn't targeted. All right. It's not like, they just didn't throw him the ball. Like,
oh no, they threw him the ball.
They threw him the fucking ball, and he wasn't that good.
I think I agree with. I really like Courtland Sutton. I still think he's better than Judy. I know that I'm saying this after a 3 touchdown game from Judy, but I also think I'd move off Sutton at this point, just because you're not getting.
Dude,
that
look
top
at
tier
this
season.
fucking guy. Like he plays every snap, and he has not finished as a wide receiver 1 once this year in any week.
Yeah, but I mean that Broncos offense only scores like 17
true.
points a game.
All right, let me ask
Less
you
than
this,
that.
Timothy Ligon. What would you sell Cortland Sutton for? Like if you're selling low, right? So right now you can't get a first for Cortland Sutton. I feel like
Definitely
the consensus price would be like an early mid-second. Like
Probably mid more than early at this point.
I think 205. If you offered him out for 205 come the beginning of the offseason, you can get that done. Because that's it. I have Cortland Sutton in a league, and I might be doing that. That's actually a really good chat. All right, another sell-low I had, Jared Goff.
Is it a sell low?
Yeah, I feel like it's sell high at this point.
I feel like it's a sell high.
Oh.
Almost. Yeah.
Well, that's all right. Spin zone, sell high, Jared Goff. I just think we're all drinking the Jared Goff Kool-Aid now. He has been playing better, but let's not let Jared Goff fool us from the fact that he is Jared Goff at the end of the day. So,
okay. I'm fine with me. Again, I trade him for I think any second.
Exactly. Like I think you
get a little higher.
You can get a little bit more than that. So, okay, maybe that's not a sell low. My bad. My last one, Dalton Schultz. This is another JT popular sell.
Stamp of approval.
I just think with the Cowboys, the way that they're running their offense, I'm selling any and every tight end because they use. I haven't seen a team use this many tight ends since Matt Nagy's Bears in the offseason. They've got formations with 9 tight ends on the field. I feel like they've just got a roster of tight ends ready to go. I mean, name a team that's got more semi-relevant tight ends than the Cowboys. They've got Dalton Schultz, Hendershot, Ferguson. You got another dude popping up out of nowhere. Next week, there's going to be another guy. It's like, holy crap. I'm not betting on any of these dudes. Nonetheless, Dalton Schultz.
I've long been out on Dalton Schultz. Sell Brandon Cooks before the fall is noticed. I think it's been noticed already. It's
definitely
kind of just disappeared.
Cowboys are the 2000 Ravens with tight ends.
Hey, those Ravens had pretty good tight ends, so.
Yeah, 2000 Ravens offense is exactly the offense you want to model your team after. Sutton for Monty. See so Joe, I would agree with that, Joe, but we have Brandon Cooks in our rebuild league, and holy crap, he's way harder to sell than I thought. It is annoying to hold him. I thought I could easily get a decent second for Brandon Cooks earlier in the year, and boy was I wrong. All right, what are we moving into? Oh, this is a juicer of a segment. This is one that I feel like I've never been able to get right in my leagues. Actually, more so the trading up than the trading back. But
I think trading up I've been good at. Trading back, we'll get into it, I guess.
So trading back in your rookie drafts before the NFL draft. I think this is a really interesting topic, especially because a lot of people before the NFL draft in leagues are very trade averse. Being like, oh, well, I don't know who's going to go where. I don't want to trade. But nonetheless, us true stonkers find value in every dark corner in leagues. And I feel like there is potential. I mean, we could just talk about trading, not even trading back. How do we navigate pre-NFL draft type moves?
So, personally, obviously, you have to do your research beforehand. Make your tiers that you're going to have come your rookie draft. If you make your tiers and you say, okay, I have picks 7, but I think everyone from pick 7 to 15 is the same, I'm going to trade back, right? So like it depends on how you grade out your guys, if you have a bigger tier break or where your tier break falls, because I always want to try to jump up a tier and maybe other people have it tiered differently, so you can jump up in your tier while they stay in their same tier and they pick up some value, so they're happy. But again, it all just comes down to making sure you know who your guys are and where you value your guys.
So I feel like some of the things I've seen in leagues is that the late seconds, the mid to late seconds, I feel like even up until the draft actually comes around are generally undervalued. So moving from like 204 to 207 pre-draft looks a lot better than it actually is. Where it's like you can get a trade done by offering, I'll move you up from my 208 to 205 or 204 or whatever, right? That exact type of move has a lot more, unless it's on the tier break, right? Because that's a little bit of a different story. Like if there's only 14 players that you value at a first round pick and then you're trading out of pick 14, that's a little bit of like, okay, what are you doing? But if you're in a tier for the most part, I just feel like that's potentially a way that you can gain value in your draft. I mean, JT maybe it's not the best example with the recent trades you did, but you did a couple of moves in rapid succession that kind of just moved you back 6 spots while picking up value.
I did? I don't know which league we're talking about.
I thought you did in the home league. Okay, well, maybe I got that wrong.
I've done a lot of moving up and down the boards. I do kind of subscribe to what Jake's saying and follow that in terms of like an example is in the 2020 draft, right? I had like 110 in that draft, and I knew the only players I didn't want to draft in the first round were Henry Ruggs and Jerry Jeudy for his price. I didn't want Jerry Jeudy like super high. I was okay drafting him later back. I also could tell around the league they didn't really like Justin Herbert a whole lot. So I figured I'll just try and move back to the 12th spot and just take Justin Herbert there. So I ended up trading what became Henry Ruggs for like Henry Ruggs, a third, and this is the sad part, JJ Arcega-Whiteside for Justin Herbert. So, I mean, overall, big net win. But the value I picked up there, I wish I could have done better. In terms of moving up the boards, though, I do have that same tier breaks where I'm like, I was super into Jamar Chase. I knew I couldn't get Jamar Chase at, I think I had 107 at the time. 106. I had 106 and I wanted to get up to 104 to get Jamar Chase. That doesn't sound right. I could look into it. But anyway, what happened was I wanted Jamar Chase and I didn't want Najee Harris. So I essentially just used a veteran player in DJ Chark and what seemed to be an underpay at the time. So I traded like DJ Chark for 210 and I moved up like 2 spots in the draft as well. So it was like DJ Chark and say 108 for 106 and 210. And that I feel like is an easy way to move up too, is if you just take this like good, like, so in this year, it's probably someone along the lines of, I don't know, give me a name. Someone better than like a Brandon Cooks.
Okay, so if you're moving from 108 to 106, that's potentially going from the wide receiver 3 to the wide receiver 1 in the class if he falls, or the wide receiver 2, I would say, or whoever your running back 2 or 3 is, right? That's what I'm thinking now.
Right.
Sorry, let me just cut you off really quickly. Are you kind of trying to argue that trading up in the draft, in the first round of the draft, pre-draft, is underpriced?
Yeah, I like trading up better because I don't think I can't get good value trading back. From what I've tried, I've just not in the second round and beyond. I'm cool with you trading back, but in terms of the first round, and especially with these elite guys who are going to be like the top tier, you see it every year. I mean, this year it's Breece Hall shot up there, Garrett Wilson, Drake London to an extent. Chris Olave was like at wide receiver 5 at some point. The rookies shoot up, but they're not the second and they're not the third round rookies that are typically shooting up. I mean, there's like a 2 out of 12 chance, 1 out of 6 chance that that's going to happen second and third round. It's the first round guys. And I feel like that value boost just is not correctly. You have to know which guys, like you have to have your guys, you have to do the research and everything, find out who's the better prospect, who's more likely to shoot up, yada, yada, yada. But to go from, a weaker prospect to a pretty strong prospect in terms of like, say a George Pickens to a Drake London, or no, you know what? I'll take Jamison Williams to a Drake London because I think they're valued a little closer together. I think that tier jump is not correctly defined in the first round until we get like 6-8 weeks into the season.
I mean, I think it's tough when you're talking about Jamison Williams and Drake London. Both of those guys were going like top 5 last year, regardless of order and of when they were picked. But I mean, typically I agree with you. I do prefer to trade up in the first round. I just think if you're going to trade your first round pick, might as well throw a little sweetener and move up. That's just my thoughts. Go and get a guy that you value higher on the board, especially if it's a guy that's starting to fall down your board. Like if you're number 5 player, slip to pick 7 already, you probably should jump on that and just say, I don't care what the jump up is from 10, 12 to 7, because I'm getting him at less price than I would pay for him originally anyway. So I think you got to do that. Trading back before the NFL draft, though, is risky.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'm doing it before the NFL draft.
Well, one thing I wanted to mention that kind of piggyback off of JT now that he's talking about it more, I can't trade up during rookie drafts. I feel like it is impossible.
Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta do it after the NFL draft, before your rookie draft. That is the sweet spot where you can move around.
So, like, I actually think there is a lot of merit to, if you want to trade up, you need to. Okay, need isn't the right word, but it might be wiser to plan ahead and be like, okay, if I can get up from 106 to 104 cheaper 2 months in advance for a guy that I know I'm going to want. I know that kind of goes hand in hand with, you have to know these tiers and whatnot all the way in advance. But I have tried so many times to trade up in the first round of rookie drafts, and actually this year is one of the only years I was able to successfully do it. And this class, this 23 class, has got a ton of hype. People are not going to want to be moving out of these picks. It's just not the move. Like 2022, everyone was like, oh shit, well, there's no quarterbacks. Like, yeah, trade back from 107 to 110 if you can. Like, that was a consensus take. So like, it just might be cheaper to do. I remember in a league, I was trying to trade up for Javonte Williams from 111. I tried trading up to 104 or 105. I tried to trade up with every single guy on trades that were fair or winning for the other person on Keep Trade. I was rejected every single one. And then I ended up getting Javonte, which is hilarious, but I didn't think I was going to. I like that. I think that's something I'm going to take away from this. Is I'm going to try to trade up before the draft instead of during. Thank you.
That's how I did. I just found it. It was trying to find what the last pick was, what round it was, but it was 108. DJ Chark and JD McKissick for 106 and I think like 208.
That's crazy.
And I got Jamar Chase. It essentially turned into Jamar Chase, and I don't know what whoever 206 was. I'll say Diami Brown for Najee Harris, DJ Chark, and JD McKissick. So I mean, worked. After the first year, it was probably a little iffy. Now it's a huge win on my part. But that was I did the whole prospect. Hey Sparky, I did the whole prospect thing and everything, and I was super into Jamar Chase. I was super out of Najee Harris. That was roughly around where they were going, and I knew I needed to get up to get Jamar Chase because I didn't want to be stuck with Najee Harris. So yeah, I'm big on keeping up. I was offered 102 for my 104 and 108 this year. I passed and took Wilson and Pickens.
Yeah, that's a massive overpay for this draft. Like the fact that London was probably the consensus 102 and you have to pay up 104 and 108, like there was kind of that top three of London, Wilson, Burks this draft.
Yeah. I would not have done that.
That's just a massive overpay of an offer. All right.
2 firsts essentially a first to move up 2 spots is kind of nutty.
I got the Dynasty stock market on the screen.
Okay. Stock.
So for those who might be new, Dynasty stock market, we've been buying and selling players every week at keep trade cut prices for, I don't know, since like March or April or something.
I don't remember the first date that we did it. It was March 23rd.
And unfortunately, Lounis is in the lead right now. We can highlight
Keep in mind, right before we get to me, we started out with 25,000 keep trade cut points. So I'm not the biggest loser. I'm just the least winner.
Are you really defending yourself right now, GT? Even me, I'm in third. I'm not defending myself here. Lounis and Frank have blown us out of the water.
I don't know how Lounis just keeps doing it every week, but
see, I've crawled back on Lounis by like a good 2,000, but it's just not enough, man. I'm still 3,000
I had
away.
Kyler Murray. That's why I wasn't up this week.
Oh, that sucks. That blows. All right, but nonetheless, like, so we buy and sell players in keep trade cut, and we've been tracking it for a while. We started off with 25K. We can't buy anyone below 1,000. Here we are. All right, let's start off with some sells. Does anyone have any sells? Did Lounis text his moves?
Yeah, I could do all of Lounis's sells right now.
Okay. All right, I'll input Lounis's. What we got?
Okay, so he's selling Daniel Bellinger.
Really? He had a good week.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just getting out on the value.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Yeah, I'm not going to question Lounis. There's no way he spelled that guy's name right. That he's buying, but let me see. Anyway, he's selling Sky Moore.
Mm-hmm.
He is also selling Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm.
Ezekiel Elliott sold. Michael Gallup sold. And Deshaun Watson sold. He's out on all those guys.
And he's got 20,000 roughly.
Yeah. We're going to do their buys or no? Okay, he did not.
No, it's just start off with sells for now.
All right. I'll follow right behind with my sells of the week. I'm going to sell David Njoku. I don't know why he went down this week, but overall, just sell him. Kareem Hunt, that experiment's over. RIP, my sweet prince. I'm going to sell both Freiermuth and Goddard. Actually, not Goddard because he should be back this week, but I'll sell Freiermuth. I think he's just pretty stable where he is. I'm going to sell George Pickens, and I hate to do it, but I'm going to do it just because I don't think Kenny Pickett this season's really going to help him out. So I could say that, and he could go off, but I'm still going to sell him. And then I'm going to hold the rest of these guys. I still think Swift's way too low, but let him get back to where he is.
All right. So wait, it was David Njoku, Kareem Hunt, George Pickens, and anyone else?
Freiermuth.
Njoku, Hunt, Freiermuth, Pickens, and that was it.
Njoku, Hunt, Freiermuth, Pickens, and that's it. Yeah. And that
still holding Will Fuller.
Oh, of course. Of course,
to the moon.
To the moon, baby.
All right, I've got a lot of sells, so I'll kick it off.
Okay.
James Conner selling.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen.
Peace.
See ya. James Cook I'll take my little value gain. I want to hold James Cook. I just don't believe enough in James Cook. Dude, the thing is, if I held until he got to that first round pick valuation, that little clip of me a couple weeks ago would be so juicy, but I'm too much of a pussy, so I'm going to sell. I don't think he's that good of a player. Michael Gallup, I like Michael Gallup, but he might just be cooked. Selling. Justin Herbert, see ya. Darren Waller, you're gone. Corey Davis, nice knowing you. And Jarrett McKinnon, what do we think?
Hold.
All right, I'll hold Jarrett McKinnon.
Oh, good, yeah.
And those are my sells.
Is Clyde just dead?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so if I did that right, Frank, you should have 26,000 in your bank, 26.6.
I have 25,513.
Oh, you held McKinnon. Never mind.
I held.
Okay. All right. So looking at my team, I'm definitely going to, if someone could do it for me, I'm going to sell Kyler Murray, obviously, because I fucked. I only picked him up last week too. I'm kind of cursed, I would say. After Kyler Murray, it's the whole fool me once, fool me twice, fool me like 70 times. Russell Wilson, I've had enough of you. Just Kurt Ripien came in and he looked like he could throw a touchdown better than you could. Trey Lance, I'm still holding for the boost. Garrett Wilson is fine there. I don't know. I might sell Garrett Wilson. Definitely got to get out on Hunter Henry, though. I literally just picked him up because he was playing the Cardinals, and tight ends always have good games against the Cardinals. And I think I will stay there for now with my moves. And you know what? I'm going to sell Joe Mixon.
You had Joe Mixon?
I was hoping he'd be like fully good to go against the Browns because the Browns' run defense sucks.
I don't know who to buy, though. Cook isn't a problem. The offensive philosophy in Buffalo is kind of whack, especially if you're a running back, it's whack. I don't know. I didn't love Cook as a prospect. He's definitely been better recently. At the same time, now, half the reason I bought James Cook is because the running back market in Dynasty is just completely out of control. But assuming some sort of semblance of control, I can't imagine that Brian Robinson and James Cook should honestly be the same value. Like, I feel like Brian Robinson, with the amount of touches he's earned compared to competition and all of that, it's like, I think clearly Brian Robinson has earned the role more so than James Cook. But I don't know.
All right, are we getting into buys?
I don't know who the fuck to buy.
Playoff time.
I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out who the young player that's going to come out and show it in the playoff was. My prediction was James Cook, but I just sold him, so not sure how I'm feeling on that one now.
We did embargo Brock Purdy.
Yeah, if he's over 1,000.
Yeah, I think he is. He's like almost 2K actually. I think the Patriots running backs are under 1,000. So, but I would embargo them. All right. Buys. I'm looking at this week's schedule, and there's some decent games, I guess I'd say, but like nothing that crazy.
I'm gonna buy some Packers. The Rams are cooked, dude. They looked horrendous. So I'm gonna buy Christian Watson.
The one. I got a problem with the Rams, my Baker Mayfield-led Rams.
Bro, this whole team looks atrocious. I'm going in on Christian Watson. I'm going to say he continues his touchdown streak.
Okay.
I'm also going to... What is Lazard at?
No idea. Probably like 2,300, 2,500.
2688. That's a little too much for me. I might come back to him, but for now, let's start with Christian Watson. I'm also gonna go ahead and buy Jerry Jeudy. I know he's just coming off a big game. He's playing the Cardinals next week. I'm gonna say he continues this little whatever we're calling it. That leaves me with 5,800. You can come back. I'm gonna have to keep looking for the next few guys.
All right, Frank, would you like to go, or would you like me to go?
You can go for now.
Okay. If someone could help me out while I put in the transaction tracker, I'm going to buy Greg Dulcich. I still think he's pretty cheap. He's playing the Cardinals this week, so it's the classic tight end against the Cardinals. I'm just going to hop on board there. I already have J.K. Dobbins. I don't know what the deal is with Deebo Samuel's injury.
He's going to miss about 3 weeks, they said.
So I'm going to buy George Kittle. Going on another tight end here. I think he should get some utilization. He's also pretty cheap in terms of like who could be like a decent tight end. The Vikings are playing the Colts. Don't really. I don't know. I might have to get called back on too. No, you know what? I'm gonna join Lounis. Did we say Lounis's buys yet? I don't think we have. But
we have not. If we wanted to read off Lounis's buys,
he only has a couple so far. But I'm going to join him on one of them though, and that's Devontae Smith, because they're playing the Bears. The other two buys that we have for Luna so far are Jordan Mason and Jared Goff.
Hold on, I'm putting Devontae Smith on your squad as well. And you said Lounis is Jared Goff
and Jordan Mason. Yep. Oh, Titans rookie kind of hot, says Joe.
Yeah, the problem is I actually want to add him. I have no idea how to spell his name.
Ooh, well, the tight end.
Chigozium Okonkwo or whatever his name is. Maryland guy.
Maryland guy is right.
And he's massive. The dude is like a super mutant.
All right, so Lounis said he's going to actually keep Darren Waller.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to buy Dulcich. And who? Who was the other one?
It was Noah Gray.
Noah Gray. That's an interesting one.
Lounis is getting crazy late in the season. He's getting wild.
He also still has a 3,300 left.
All right, can someone just save me the misery and help me spell this Maryland Tennessee Titans tight end?
Yes.
His name
CHIGOZIEM, and then last name is OKONKWO.
Boomtown. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, great shout out, Joey Bear.
Oh, now I got to spell in the transaction tracker.
I'm gonna buy Treylon Burks.
Oh.
I think it was clear that the Titans needed him in that last matchup. The guys that they are throwing the ball to are cooked. Treylon was playing very well. And like A.J. Brown, his rookie year, I think we were starting to see Treylon have that very high efficiency type games, especially on these deeper patterns. And I think that'll improve or continue to happen. A classic, like he may only get 5 targets, but 1 or 2 of those are going to be a deep shot, and he connects. Gonna buy Jahan Dotson.
Okay.
Jahan Dotson. I mean, it's annoying that the Commanders are really trying to like commit to the running attack, but that's part of the reason I have Brian Robinson. And B, I was wait, are they on a bye this week?
No, I think all buys are done.
Yeah, all buys are done.
Okay, so he was on a bye last week. The week before then, he had more production than I was anticipating. I thought that they were gonna kind of do this like load management until after the bye, but actually the week before the bye he was getting a decent amount of workload. But now after the bye, I think we're gonna see him back towards the snap share he was getting in the very beginning of the season, which could lead to some juicy numbers. Gonna buy Jonathan Taylor. I just think at the end of the day, the fact that Breece Hall, who was good for half of a season, is relatively near who the RB1 should actually be. The volume has been there. The Colts just kind of suck. I feel like we're about to see Jonathan Taylor explode after this bye week. So the Colts can kind of get things situated with the whole coaching staff change. They clearly want to run the ball. They just need to be a little bit more efficient, and Jonathan Taylor is going to be back to being the king. So I'm going to buy him for this end-of-season stretch. My next buy. Back in on T-Law.
Oh.
I like that one.
Great week last week. I did not really think he was going to be quarterback 8 or whatever in points per game on the season. That's very impressive. I think especially as we head into the offseason, people are really going to get their panties in a bunch over
they're going to see Lawrence. Yeah, but you realize like people miss games, there's all kinds of
but the thing is that at the end of the day, this segment is not about who actually should be worth higher or lower.
For this segment I agree, but I'm just saying Trevor Lawrence in general, people are going to in the offseason go, "Oh, he was QB8 on the year." Sure, Tua missed 5 games.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dak missed time. Like, there's a whole bunch of guys that.
But the way that this season is headed, Trevor Lawrence is going to be at that turn.
It's funny you say that because before the pod started today, I actually was talking to JT about potentially, purchasing some Trevor Lawrence shares throughout my leagues and seeing what it would cost me, because I do think with Ridley coming back, even though he's cooked, is going to add another dynamic to this game.
All right, and then the last guy I was gonna buy was Dak Prescott, but I don't have the cash, so I'm out.
Oh boy,
JT, we've both got about the same amount. Give me a juicy buy.
Well, I actually have 2 separate moves instead. So I'm going to sell Noah Fant, and then with that draft capital, I'll just do it here. I'm going to buy Amari Cooper. In on Amari Cooper. They're playing the Ravens this week, divisional game. I think while Deshaun Watson hasn't really looked good yet, I think obviously it was going to take some time. So I'm just going to bank on this week being the week and try and stack my players here so I can catch up to you guys.
All right, hold on. Let me find a buy really quickly, and then we can. Gee, I was just thinking about it, like, imagine only one of us was negative on the year. The rest of us are just like up at least a sizable amount from the 25K that we started off with. I'm not saying it's like difficult to be here, but just imagine you're the one guy who's just struggling to turn a profit. Like,
I mean, with the way I've been buying players and then just getting hurt the following week, like I did with Kyle Pitts, I did with Trey Lance, and now Kyler Murray. I'm just. Oh, and Gronk. I bought Gronk and then he retired the next week. I've just not been hitting those correctly at all.
Who do I buy?
Well, I'm going to spend my last 50 whatever I had on 2 guys. It's going to be Amari Cooper and Jerick McKinnon.
Oh, welcome aboard the Amari Cooper train.
Yeah, Watson just played too bad in his first game back. He'll get the ball to Amari Cooper eventually. And Jarrett McKinnon. I like what I saw to Jarrett McKinnon. So I'm going to say he's the Chiefs running back until I see otherwise. So that's what I'm going with.
I'm going to buy David Bell. A guy that is low-key seen his snap share increase over the last half of the season thus far. And the targets have come with it. The past 2 weeks, he's cooled off a little bit, but he's got a good matchup up against Baltimore. I think that contrary to the past handful of games that Watson has started, that this could be a more pass-happy affair for the Cleveland Browns against a Ravens secondary that even was not doing super great against the Steelers. They happen to have those turnovers, which help the points number, but the Steelers' passing attack was actually able to move the ball a little bit. So considering the Steelers can pass on your ass, I imagine the Browns that have a legitimate quarterback right now can. At least in theory. So anyone else have any other moves?
We haven't gotten any more from Lounis, right? So
all right, well, Lounis is cooked then. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we made a decent amount of moves.
Yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. Good luck in your playoff matchups and your playoff run if you are in the playoffs. And if not, you can come tune in for these future episodes to help prepare for your rookie drafts. We're really going to get this 2023 draft content up and running pretty soon here. So stay tuned for that. We really appreciate you guys supporting us. So thank you so much. Peace out. Have a good one.